Welcome to the 2020 Linn County Virtual Fair Bucket Bottle Show.
And we have the junior division first, and this is our first entry.
For Matthew, some comments that I could share with you is to simply work with the calf a little sooner and more often. It will help you with your being able to lead the calf appropriately and properly. Also, you did a great job of keeping the calf clean, and you can tell that you really enjoyed the project area. I would like to see you move up a little bit on the halter. Always hold the halter right close to the head, as close as you can with your right hand, and that helps hold the head up and so forth of the calf. But I can tell that you did a great job of working with the calf, keeping it clean, caring for it throughout the length of the project. But work with the calf a little more often, get it more comfortable with you, and I think you'll have a great deal of improvement from this year over next.
And here he is walking his calf.
This is where what I just shared with you, you can see that the calf's a little bit stubborn, and that's kind of natural for them. But if they become more comfortable with you as you're working with it, you'll be able to see that you can lead the calf more appropriately. If you move up on the halter a little bit, get your free hand up on the rope right next to the head, that helps control his head. And you've done a nice job with the show stick trying to place the feet. I appreciate that. Also, when you're walking the calf and moving it, we tend to try to go clockwise with the calf. So you're always kind of pushing his head away from you. And we'd like you to concentrate next year on that particular circular motion, always going clockwise versus turning the calf counterclockwise. Because the calf's natural tendency is to want to move away from you. And see, right now, as you can tell, you need to have your free hand up on the rope a little closer to the head and so forth, and that'll give you a little more control over the calf. But we can tell that you've done a great deal of work with the calf, and you've really enjoyed and learned from it. And it's a starting point, and you'll make a tremendous amount of improvement for next year.
All right.
Great job, Matthew. Great job.
All right, thank you. And our next entry is Evelyn.
Evelyn, you've done a great job caring for the calf. You can tell he's clean, he's been cared for. The fact that his head is right on your shoulder in this photograph tells me that you've been around and spent a lot of time with him. I do recall you in the interview process. You were very articulate. I just wanted to throw that out there. That I really appreciate your ability for the detail that you provided, not only in your report, but also in your ability to articulate how you cared for the calf and took care of it. But overall, a great job, and I can tell that you've done a tremendous amount of work, and I know that you're going to grow exponentially for next year if you do this project again, and I would certainly encourage you to do that. I don't know what your plans are for this calf for next year. Hope you bring it back. If there's a second year bucket bottle division of some sort, I hope that you bring the calf back and then show it as a full grown mature animal. So very good job.
And here she is walking her calf.
I really like the fact that you've got your free hand up close on the halter, up next to the head, and you change hands then, so you've got your other hand up there close to the head again, so you can set the feet. And you've done a good job of moving the calf, and I can tell you've worked with the calf because he's not really resisting you that much and is staying right with you. So that's evident in the amount of work that you put in prior to this tape being made. Just a great job overall. Really appreciate the work you've done, and I know you put a lot of hours in. So great job, and very deserving of however the scores turn out and how the awards are handed out. So really want to commend you on the work you've done.
All right, and our next entry is Ava.
Ava, you've done a good job. Dairy calves quite often are difficult to keep clean and present well, but you have done a phenomenal job with this calf. The white areas, knees and so forth, you've just done a really nice job of prepping the calf and having it ready for show and display. You can tell you've spent some time with it, and I know I can see in the background that you've got somebody else holding another calf, so you've got two projects in this particular class, and that's just double duty, double work, and so I can tell that you enjoy that. Also, small calves like that like to have another calf around. It helps take away some of the angst that they may have as you're trying to show them and so forth and prep with them. But you presented the calf well, and it's clean, it's healthy, and really appreciate that. Good job, Eva.
And here's Ava walking her calf.
If I could mention a couple of things, Ava, I'd like you to be on the other side of the calf with your free hand instead of having the halter go underneath his chin. The halter, you should be on it would be the left side of the animal as you're moving around, and then have your hand right up next to the head of the halter, or right up next to the head on the halter, and that allows you to have a little more control. But the calf, I can tell that you worked with it a great deal because he's staying with you. He's not resisting you in any way, shape, or form, and that shows me that you put in the time to help train the calf and become familiar with it so the calf is at ease. Great job, Eva, and I hope that you come back next year and present in this project again.
All right. And our next entry is Preston.
Preston, phenomenal job of keeping the calf clean. He looks very healthy. You can tell because of the first still photo that the calf is very comfortable with you. He's got his ears back a little bit with your chin on his face, but he just doesn't seem to mind that all that great, and he's doing a great job with you, and you're working with him. He's clean, he's healthy, well groomed, and that's what I appreciate. And if this is your second or so year in it, then you learned a lot and brought a lot of that forward from the previous year. Great job.
And here's Preston walking his calf.
I appreciate your hand on the halter right up next to his head. You're on the left side of the animal, which is great. Right now, he's not cooperating just the best, but you're outside on a nice sunny day, and sometimes he's distracted. You've got him set up. He sets, he braces, he stops, and that shows that you've worked with the calf a great deal. Really appreciate the time you've put in on the project. As you lead and so forth, a lot of times we try to get you to go there. You're going clockwise now, turning him clockwise, so you're pulling away, you're pushing him away from you. One way to get rid of his stubbornness a little bit right here at this point in time is if you work with the calf quite a bit and do some leading prior to going into the show ring, they'll get a little bit of their, I want to say angst out of their system, and they'll be a little more cooperative. So if you work with them for 15, 20 minutes prior to showing them and leading and doing the tape, a lot of times they'll cooperate a little more easily in this particular case. Great job. You've learned a lot. I remember from your interviews that you were very knowledgeable, and I really appreciate the work you put in on the calf. Thank you very much.
All right. And our next entry is Ava.
Ava, get your second calf in the project area. I commend you for having two calves. That's just to double the work and so forth. Appreciate that, and I commend you for that. The calf is well groomed, clean, appears to be very healthy, and that shows a lot of work on your part. So I know you've put in the time to help prep him for the show today.
All right. And here's Ava walking her second calf.
Again, Ava, as I maybe mentioned on the first calf, if you get your hand up on the halter right close to its head, you have a little more control, and then you can feel, even if you're not looking at the calf, you know which way its head's moving at any given time. Because you've got your hand closer to the head, you can feel it move as you try to lead it. This calf is not as cooperative as the first one. I can tell that. I think you probably are aware of that as well. But again, you're doing a nice job of leading him around. Just want you to get up a little further up on the halter and not have that foot and a half distance of free rope. That'll help a tremendous amount. And that way you can walk along right next to him and do a good job. But overall, Ava, I really appreciate your effort in the project. He's not as willing to cooperate as your first calf, but still a nice project, and really appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you, Ava. And our next entry is Jacob.
Jacob, it's a nice looking calf. You cleaned him, I can tell, and then you can even see that you've been working with him. You've got the garden hose in the background. You probably just got through being washed off and cleaned up. Having your hand around his neck shows that he's comfortable. He's not afraid of you. So you put in the time to be with him, and just comfortable overall. And that's the first step to breaking the calf, is to get them familiar with you. Good job.
And here's Jacob walking his calf. This will be the last one for the junior division.
Jacob, of all the juniors showing their calves, your calf performed the best in terms of walking the ring. You're up on the rope, you're right up next to the head, you're on the left side, and he seems very comfortable with you right on his shoulder. And that's a good sign that you put in the time and the calf is staying with you and keeping pace with you. And when you want to stop, the calf will stop. You turn him, and you put in that time. So I really want to commend in terms of walking the ring with the calf. I were there live today with you, helping you show that calf or watching you. You've got the calf under the best control. The calf heeds to your commands to stop, to start, to move, and really appreciate that. Great job, Jacob.
And that is the end of our junior class. Entry number 826, Matthew, will receive a blue ribbon. Entry number 881, Evelyn, will also receive a blue ribbon. Entry 1078, Ava, will receive a blue. Entry 1150, Preston, will receive a blue. Entry 1197, Ava, will also receive a blue. And entry 1315, Jacob, will receive a blue ribbon. So next we have our intermediate.
Sela, as I look at your calf, you've put in the time again. It's clean. You're in 7th grade. This is probably not your first year in the project area, so you've learned from the previous years. You're up on the calf, and the calf is healthy.
And here she is walking her calf.
You're setting the calf very well, using your foot to move the front back. I appreciate that. That shows experience. I really appreciate the cones in this particular picture because I can see a pattern that you want to walk. I would get your hand up a little closer to the head on the halter, just maybe an inch or two away from the face. It helps you hold the head up on the calf. The calf follows. He follows your command and lead as you're leading him around, but that shows your experience, because I don't think, and I'm going to guess here, I'm sure that this is probably not your first year doing this particular project. You turned him to the right, to the left. He followed. He obeyed the command. Just a great overall job, and I can see a definite improvement from the junior level to the intermediate level. I really see a great deal of experience coming on with older members, having been probably in the project area before. Just a great job overall setting the feet. I just recommend that you get up on the halter just a little bit more to help hold that head up. But just a wonderful job. Thank you very much.
All right, and this is our next entry, Natalie.
Natalie, I can tell that you really enjoyed this project area. You're on the calf in the photos, still photos here. The calf seems comfortable with being this close to you, so I know you put in your time. And the calf is very comfortable being next to you. And he's clean, healthy in appearance. and you've taken good care of him. So I know that you've fed him well, and you've also probably had him in a location where it could be draft free and help with the health conditions of the calf and so forth. But really just an overall good job. Nice looking calf.
Here she is walking her calf.
The one thing I did notice about you, Natalie, when you were working with the calf was just a little bit stubborn at times. Didn't really want to move with you or turn with you in the particular situation. I just suggest that probably you spend a little more time leading the calf. Sometimes mom and dad helping you break the calf to turn and move and so forth will also work. But there's points or times where he did want to move and want to turn. Other times he didn't want to. You can see that he's resisting you a little bit here, and that's on the turn. If you turn to the clockwise to the right, sometimes pushing them away versus trying to pull them towards you, moving to the left, you can solve some of that. But see here, as you turn to the right now he follows. But every time you turn to the left and had to pull him towards you, then he doesn't want to do that. So always try to go clockwise. Usually that's how they show in the ring, and you'll have a lot more success. That would be my only point that I would want. But otherwise, you've done a great job. You worked with the calf, and just every time you went to that left side, he didn't want to follow you. So if you keep going in the right to the right all the time in the clockwise motion, you'll have a much more successful time leading him. But very good calf. I know you've learned a great deal. I watched your interview. Just did an overall great job. I commend you on that. Thank you.
And this is our next entry, Avery.
Avery, very nice looking calf. I'm assuming it's an Angus cross of some sort. It's clean, it's healthy. You standing with it and so forth. I know you've spent the time with it again, as the other members have done. But overall, a nice job having a good project this year.
And here's Avery walking her calf, and this will be the last one for the intermediate class.
Avery, from my notes, watching the tape and so forth, I've got down here, nice job. You did a nice job of leading the calf. The calf was responsive, followed you, even though when you went to the left or right, he still followed you. So you put in the time. I would like you to be up on the rope a little closer to the head. You're about a foot and a half away as you pull him around. If you get your right hand up on the rope, maybe just an inch or two from his head, you have a little more control. That would be the one thing that I would probably suggest for improvement for next year, because I hope you come back and do this project again. Overall, a very nice job. The calf has been broken to lead, and you've done a nice job working on that.
And this is the end of our intermediate class. Entry number 452, Sela, will receive a blue. Entry number 586, Natalie, will receive a blue. And entry number 735, Avery, will also receive a blue.
All right, and next we have our seniors. And this is your first entry, Olivia.
Olivia, just an outstanding looking calf. You put in some time to groom him, and it's clean. And I'm gonna bet that you're gonna bring this calf back next year in the market division. Just a really nice looking calf, well presented, clean, and groomed. I want to commend you for that. Just an outstanding job overall.
She is walking her calf.
Olivia, you put in the time. The calf stops. It's responsive to your commands. Whether you just pull back on the halter or not, you could stop a half a dozen times, and the calf would always respond to your efforts. You set him very well. He almost sets by himself, which shows me that you've done a great deal of work with him. And I know you've got a show stick in your hands. It's probably not even needed in this particular case, because the calf automatically sets in just as you would want them to in any particular show ring situation. So just an overall great job, nice calf. Probably one of the best jobs in the ring that I've seen today in your division. And really, really appreciate the time that you put in. Great job overall.
And this is our next entry, Kira.
Kira, nice, very nice calf. If we end up going virtual next year, and we could, you just never know with what the situation is, but it's a nice clean calf. Um, Try not to have the sun in the background. That will help me out as a judge a great deal, because it's harder to see the calf because the side I see is in the dark or in the shadow. If I could be with the sun in front of you instead, so I could see the calf a little better. But I know from the still photos and also from the tape that the calf is well groomed, you've taken good care of it, and you're very knowledgeable in the project. So very healthy looking animal. Appreciate that. But my only comment would be to maybe take the photos with the sun at your face instead of at your back. So that would just be an improvement should we do something virtually next time. Thank you.
And here she is walking her calf.
Nice job, Kira, in leading the calf, stopping to set. You got your hand up on the halter a little closer, like I've told some of the other exhibitors. I appreciate that. Your ability to turn, switch hands, grab the show stick shows that you've done this before. This is not your first time leading a calf. And I can tell that you've got experience as a senior in the bucket bottle division or just showing cattle in general. Really appreciate that. As a 12th grader, I'm guessing this is your last county fair. And I know you've learned a great deal from it. So really appreciate the work. The calf turns for you, sets. You're just doing a great job, and you put in the time to have command of the calf, and then also that the calf is responsive to what you want it to do. Just a great job when you switch hands. Really appreciate it. Good job, Kira.
And our next entry is Zoe.
Zoe, you've got a really nice looking calf. I'm guessing you're going to bring it back next year in the market division. This would be a fairly competitive looking calf because it's got some of the meat and composition type things we're looking for in a market animal. And so I would encourage you to bring it back. The calf is clean, it's well groomed. You've done a nice job. The calf appears to be used to working with you or you working with it. So I know you've put in your time. But that just shows your dedication and effort. You've learned a great deal from this.
Here's Zoe walking her calf.
Some days, Zoe, the calf doesn't want to cooperate, but you notice he jumps and so forth a little bit. That just shows me that maybe you could, if we worked with the calf a little more. I don't recall from your report when the project started, so how long you've had it. But overall, a good calf. I like how you switch hands, you set, you show the calf, you switch hands again, and then you move with the show stick. My guess is this is not your first time, but the jumping that you're seeing could probably be remedied pretty easily. Another week or so of work with the calf, and that would probably go away and not be part of it. The other thing too, it could just be the day and how the calf is feeling. He could be just a little bit frisky today. Sometimes if they have a tendency to jump like that, if you work them 10, 15, 20 minutes before you go into the show ring, they'll get that out of their system, and then it won't happen at showtime, or in this case, when you're taping and so forth. But just overall, I can tell you've worked with the calf a lot. You've been around it, and you've got command of the situation. Just a nice overall project.
And next we have Gabby.
Gabby, very nice calf. I can tell it's clean. It's been cared for. It's healthy. You've taken good care of it. I would mention, rather than having the sun at your back, I would like to see the sun at the front of the calf. I could see it a little better so it's not in the shadow from the downside of that. But if we could take a picture next time on the other side. But overall, a nice looking calf. I'm going to guess you're going to bring this calf back next year as a mature animal, either in the market division or I can't tell if it's a heifer with the screen there, but I hope you bring that calf back because I think it would be fairly competitive next year at the county fair. Nice job.
Okay, and here she is walking her animal, and this will be the last entry of the day.
You switch hands very easily. My guess is you've shown cattle before. You've got experience, and as a senior member or in the senior division, that's important to show that experience and growth in the project area. All the seniors this year did a great job in terms of being able to set the animal, show it, move it, and change hands with the lead rope and the show stick. The calf was responsive to your changes in direction. So I know you've put in some time getting it ready to show and working with the calf. And I realized that there was a time or two where it stopped and didn't want to move forward for you, but you were able to grab the tail, just twist it just a little bit, and then the calf responded to that as well. And that's what we do in the show ring, is to make sure we can help control that animal and have some patience at the same time. And you're showing that through and through that you've got the experience and you've worked with cattle before. Great job overall. Hope you're back next year and hope to see you in the show ring again. Thank you.
This is the end of our senior class. Entry number 542, Olivia, will receive a blue ribbon. Entry number 601, Kira, will receive a blue. Entry 883, Zoe, will also receive a blue. And entry 982, Gabby, will receive a blue ribbon.
We would like to thank our judge, our 4-H and FFA exhibitors, their families, our volunteers, our staff, and our 2020 4-H Fair recognition and trophy donors. Thank you for watching.